Hey, this is Alessio coming at you before the episode. Due to some scheduling, we actually ended up having to swap what this episode would have been for another episode. The interview was supposed to go out this week. However, due to some scheduling changes, the interview is going to go out next Monday. So that is weekly episodes starting now. So instead, you're going to get James, Lily, and myself talking about predictions before Death Stranding 2 releases, and just shooting the shit and prepping for pregame. So, yeah, please enjoy. And next week, join us for our interview with Jeff Leach. Thank you so much.
To Metal Gear Mondays, the greatest Metal Gear podcast ever.
I don't agree with you.
Releasing on Monday, every Monday.
How did you patch into my radio frequency?
Stinks in here. Bad.
Ladies, gearsmen, babies, and gentlethems, you're listening to Metal Gear Mondays, the podcast that I keep forgetting this tagline for. Podcast.
What would you say you do here?
Yeah. The podcast that covers all things Metal Gear from top to bottom, left to right, inside and out in pseudo-chronological order. Arguably the most thorough and longest running Metal Gear podcast on the internet. As occasionally, I am your host, Alessio Summerfield, and today I am joined by Liliana Wright.
That is top fan of Cam Clark on Facebook, Liliana Wright. To you, mister.
Oh, I totally forgot to respond to your text. Yes,
you did.
Congratulations on.
I was just looking on Facebook, and it said I liked one of his posts, and it said you're a top fan. And I said, "You're goddamn right, I am, motherfucker." Accepts.
I had to respond back and been like, "Cam's my top fan." And we're also joined by James Reichmuth. Sorry.
I don't want to cut you off. Hello, it's me. I'm sorry. Not to interrupt. Am I coming through? Okay.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at the thing. I haven't used Zencaster in a long time, and I didn't see like my waveform, so I wanted to make sure.
I had the same problem
very clearly.
Time. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Great.
I think for some reason it shows. I don't know why.
Yours.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just like we want to keep yours super special.
Okay,
You're
great.
not gonna see it. Like
keep it
a little
safe.
secret from you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. James is back. James, what was
I'm
the
here.
last episode you were on, other than the 4-part finale?
Was it like Peace Walker stuff?
Was it?
That sounds.
It feels
accurate.
right. Well, did we do anything?
Because that was the
five
big.
together?
That was the big James season. Like
Yeah.
we did
Peace Walker,
Rising, and then all that shit. Peace Walker.
Yeah.
And
That
then
was
Did
like-
we do 5?
I can't remember. If
You weren't on
five.
5. It was me and
I wasn't
Alessio.
on
It was just
5.
me and Alessio
Okay.
for 5.
That
Got
makes
it,
sense.
got it.
That makes
I think
sense.
Isaac was
Yeah.
on the Ground Zeroes, right?
Isaac was on
Yeah,
Ground Zeroes,
yeah,
and it was
yeah, I
just
remember
me and
that.
Alessio for 5, yeah.
Yes. But yeah.
Because it
think
was
Peace
Peace
Walker.
Walker, because that was like peak Otacon's, like I hate Otacon.
Oh.
Because of Huey. Sins of the Father, you know what I mean?
I've come around. I think I feel a little
Yeah.
softer.
Nice.
I feel a little softer towards them now. I really do.
You love to see
Only a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of things that we don't feel soft about, we'll get into it. But I just want to be quoted. I want to come out on Front Street and just say, "Doll Man fucking sucks, you guys."
I mean, you're not going to rock hard for Doll Man? Come on.
Every time I see him, there's a part of me that's like, I'm like, I want to give him a chance, and then he pops
Visceral
up, and I'm just like,
disgust.
ugh.
He's got a strange demeanor about them.
I think it's the mismatched frame rate too. Like, I get they're going for like
Yeah,
a thing,
it's
but, like,
uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. I wonder
yeah.
where in the process Doll Man was conceived of and decided that they would
Probably
just
before Death Stranding 1, if we're being quite honest. He was like, I need to do this, and I have the practice.
It's all been leading to this.
Well, that's all the theories, everything's been happening. Everything is the main event of Doll Man. Do you think it would be more or less uncomfortable if his frame rate was normal, but everybody else's was the weird sketchy? Would that be more or less uncomfortable in the way that it is?
I feel like even him being in full frame rate,
Yeah.
period, would be
I'd prefer him to not exist in my realm
truly.
of vision. Yeah.
Truly.
I think so. There was something that happened in Killer 7, an old Suda 51 game,
yeah.
that has since then given me this like unconditional horror where like so in Killer 7 there's this sequence where there's a boss fight and everybody looks super stylized and very like realistic proportions.
Yeah.
And then you have this boss fight with what is essentially like a Sailor Moon anime girl, but she looks like a Sailor Moon anime girl is just in real life. Like if Sailor Moon existed as she is, but like in our reality. And it made me so deeply uncomfortable that like one of my unconditional fears now is just like an animated character existing in reality, just breaking my brain. Like if Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a horror film.
Oh yeah.
And Dollman checks that box, I realized. He like gives me the same discomfort, like uncanny.
Like he doesn't belong where he is.
Yeah, I was saying this in a text conversation with you two yesterday where like if I saw him in real life, I would have a snap fucking moment where I would just start slamming my feet into him and smashing him into the ground until this motherfucker was just a paste.
That's how I feel when I see a silverfish. That is
the
closest equivalent.
Those things.
Fuck those things.
Anyway, sorry.
To a silverfish. Now introducing our guest, Jonathan Rumi, the voice of Dollman. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, hopefully we are going to have him on at some point.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
We could ask him, like, hey, why does Dollman fucking suck so much, Jonathan?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Please.
Why have you brought this to us?
This episode is brought to you by Skylar Blackwell. Thank you for sponsoring the show.
Who I'm going to strangle to death with my bare hands. And he knows why. Skylar. He probably doesn't because I haven't said anything on the Discord about it, but I'm coming for you.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
This is the speculation zone.
Lies! Deceptions!
If you want to be cool like Skylar, you should give us $10 a month. Because if you do, we'll shout you out. I actually have a little randomizer where I pull your names out. And not only that, but you get a shit ton of stuff. You get like 65 hours of another bonus show, just right out the gate, like the moment you hit go. Cool. You also get video episodes.
Whoa.
So, just for those people, really quickly, I'm going to stand up.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah.
And I'm wearing this really cool Metal Gear Solid 4 shirt. Lily, would you like to tell everybody where it came from?
Yes. So, listener, Pal Sam, we call him, because before I transitioned, there were multiple Sams on the Discord. And so they called Irish Sam Pal Sam because of the Pal reaches. And so Pal Sam reached out to me at some point in the it was like last year, maybe a year before. I was like, hey, I have this Metal Gear Solid 4 shirt that I don't remember why I think he was just like he's just downsizing a little bit. And he's like, do you want it? And I was like, sure. So he sent it to me and it was my size. I could wear it, but it gets here and it's like a European version of my size. So it's smaller. It's smaller than fucking large ass Americans, right? And so
kind of like when an XL in Italy is a fucking small
right, exactly.
In America. Like literally I have a shirt like that.
Right, exactly. So I was like, this would probably fit Alessio. So I messaged him. I was like, do you want this? And he was like, yeah. So I sent it to him. Or did I just send it to you? I can't remember.
I feel like you just texted me and asked me my shirt size.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what?
And your new address, because you had just moved to Queens.
Yeah, I was like, what are you sending? And you're like, you'll see. And then it showed up. So anyway, it's a nice shirt. I don't know why I got some like weird white schmutz on it that I just cannot get out. So that's the one I get
for the schmutz.
You just have like a bunch of like unidentifiable objects on you at all times. Because like spoilers for the Patriot Club on the most recent Patriot Club about cereal. You led that episode off talking about how you were covered in like baby
just things,
olive oil.
Because when I hug my daughter or something, she loves to just wipe her face on my shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, speaking of daughters, what are we talking about today, guys?
Oh my god. Well, Death Stranding 2 is on the horizon. As you're listening to this, you may or may not even be playing it because it is and I'm gonna potentially date us, but based on our carefully laid plans, because we are professionals, today is the day that you can be playing Death Stranding 2 if you pre-ordered it. So pre-orders came out a couple days early than the game release.
Well, the day after today.
The day after, yeah, the day
Yes.
after. Yes, yeah. So, so you may even be playing it, or you may have like had a chance to touch it at this point. Touchy. But we live in the past. This is the past version of us that haven't been graced by the opportunity yet. So we're thinking, we're ruminating, we're Jonathan ruminating. Dollman.
Oh yeah, exactly. When I hear
And we're
doll
here-
man, I just become a
Just
cat.
viscerally clench your butthole. We're here to talk about some of our expectations for Death Stranding 2. We're here to talk about some of our theories for Death Stranding 2. And
That second part's going to be interesting, considering that I've been on like media blackout for like the last.
Yeah. I think I know a little bit more than Alessio, but I've mostly also been on blackout. James, have you been?
I've also mostly been on blackout. I've watched a little bit of what's come out trailer wise. I caught a little bit of the gameplay reveal, like enough to like get a little bit more excited, get ready, but also like I've been trying to kind of stay away, but I have followed Hideo Kojima's press tour on this, and I find his comments very interesting.
He did
define interesting.
I did he did an interview with Game Informer, and the quote that they used for the headline was, "Maybe this is a problem," Hideo Kojima says about early Death Stranding 2 praise.
Yeah, he notably, and I kind of agree with the sentiment. He notably said that like, I can't remember when he said this, but he was saying that during the original Death Stranding, during play testing, it seemed like half the audience really loved it and the other half absolutely hated it and like walked out of the room. And that he was like perfect.
Yeah.
And so
he's
I wonder if he was
upset. And he's
referring to that.
upset. That's exactly, because I watched it. That's exactly what he's talking about, where he talks about like he would rather have 4 people like it would like have it change 4 people's life and then have the other 6 people just not like it.
Yeah,
Then
says the man
what
who
has
also
happened-
makes games that are like $250 million to make.
Right, exactly. Whereas with Death Stranding 2, he's noticed that like 9 people really like it and treat it like this blockbuster thing, but he doesn't find that as satisfying. So it's like,
we'll get into it.
Auteurs, you know.
My negative feelings on this game are very much so tied to some of that. So like, we'll get into that. There's a certain direction that has been coming up a lot in the marketing that I'm like not exactly excited about.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, but other than that, James, why the fuck are you here? Somebody might be asking.
You know,
Jesus.
I feel like I've actually.
I mean, I can answer that question. But...
Been here the whole time. just
actually,
slightly
canonically,
off
James
break.
has been been quietly just on the call for all the last episodes.
James Reichmuth, what gives you the fucking right? You know what I mean?
No, I
The
know.
audacity.
I was such a naysayer about Metal Gear for so long and Hideo Kojima, and then the last 5 years have changed me, and I'm very excited to play Death Stranding 2. And so I'm here to talk about it.
James has entered the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what was the moment?
Reichmuth.
Was there a moment? Was there a moment where you were like, actually, I kind of dig this?
Fun.
Well, I will
game.
say, the original Death Stranding 1, Low Roar became like my favorite musician. R.I.P. Very sad.
Yeah.
But I think like, I don't know, I found something very meditative about the first game, and I was really trying to practice like slowing down, and I found that it was sometimes good practice in slowing down, which I'm curious to see how much of that remains.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where my negativity is most focused.
I'm kind of with you there. I famously, and this is something that I've addressed a couple of times, but I think now that we're officially talking about Death Stranding in this setting, famously, I think when we did the coverage for Death Stranding 1 back when, we were in a pretty like I made the very short-sighted decision that we needed to get this done before a Christmas break. And so I think we burned ourselves out on Death Stranding 1. And so I feel like my experience for the show was perhaps a little more negative than I think it would have been if I could have given it a chance to play. I could have given myself a chance to play it normally. And so like that is true. I also think that, James, you are correct in that like it's really good at like practicing that like meditative like slow down type of mentality. There are a lot of moments too where like there's like a moment like towards the end, but when you're like getting to Westnot for the first time and you crest the hill, and you see it down the bottom of the hill and Low Roar starts playing behind it, and like I legit started crying when that happened. Like that was, and it's filled with moments like that. And I honestly can't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed not having to play that for the show.
I think
I 100%. I think I played that game. It took me like 6 months to finish.
Yeah,
but
I started it like 3 times before it finally clicked. Like it took me. I probably got to the first like the windmill like 2 or 3 times, and then started over because I would take such a long break and then something just clicked where I was just like, oh, like. I'm just cruising. This is good.
Mechanically and like stylistically, great. I think all the negatives I had at the time were like narrative.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a game that gets in its own way a lot, I think.
Yes. Yeah, especially like in the back half of the game, I felt like narrative wise was just like, all right, like we're going some places that I don't know about. I will say though, so like I beat Death Stranding 1 for the first time probably like 8 or 9 months ago. One thing I'm excited about for Death Stranding 2 is to actually be there more in the beginning, because like it kind of felt like I was like, everything's built, like the world built like all of the shortcuts for us.
Yeah, like the
Death Stranding 1 at this point. Yeah, I was like, there are ladders everywhere. Like I don't need shit.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I think just like my sort of watershed moment that I think made Death Stranding like click for me in like a really big way was, I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was coming back from doing some sort of NPC side quest thing. And very similarly, I like kind of came up to a tall point and looked down and realized I had kind of like inadvertently walked myself down into a valley I couldn't get out of. And it was like, there was like a huge river in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And non-traditional game design, there was no like pre-built path to get around it. And so it was literally like, it felt like a boss fight. Like it was like me versus the fucking river.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love this. I was like, this is awesome. Like this feels great. And it was, I don't know. I think those moments were like the best moments for me.
It's a game that I think doesn't really need boss fights in a lot of ways. Maybe like the couple of like really big ones towards the end. Maybe not the whale. The fucking whale. But like it's a game that I think doesn't necessarily need boss fights, because the struggle of getting around sometimes and figuring that out feels like the accomplishment you'd get from beating a really tough boss, just like you said. So it's like, especially like in the mountain area, like in the snowy mountain area, like that was fucking that was harrowing.
The combat was like my least favorite part of Death Stranding 1. Like
I think I'm just gonna jump ahead to what I'm not looking forward to.
Preach on that.
I don't want there to be more combat,
right?
Like I'm kind of irritated by the fact that like all the press coverage so far that I have seen until I went on like blackout was all about like, it plays more like Metal Gear Solid 5. There's like shooting and base raiding and like vehicle thievery. And I'm just like, bro, what? Like
that's not what it's about. That's not
what I came to Death Stranding for like a sick fucking Gran Turismo of hiking. Like where is that, bro? Like that's what I want to play. I don't know, that wasn't everybody's cup of tea. But like, but I thought that was Kojima's point. Right?
I completely agree. Yeah, that's my concern with it as well. Is like it does feel very like the things you liked about Metal Gear Solid 5. We're gonna add in because
I love your George Lucas, Patton Oswalt voice.
Well, It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Snake's a baby.
But I also wonder how much of it. I do wonder. I do wonder how much of it is like marketing though, because like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's hard for anybody, I feel like, to market something that's not just fucking action packed.
Yeah, for
Sucks.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is crazy. Like, I know it's weird. We have like an itinerary, kind of like an agenda.
Mhm.
And I just glanced at it and realized that I have not been looking at it at all, and we have been hitting everything in the exact order that I want.
Fuck yeah, man.
What up?
That's fucking
We're
teamwork.
we're fucking Chad pilled right now.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm also curious. So there was that whole. It's funny. I'm like on media blackout, and yet I feel like I just intuitively know everything.
Yeah.
There was that whole presentation about the dynamic sound, right? Which like
yeah.
For those of you who don't know, there was like a whole presentation on like, as things change while you're playing, the music changes. And I'm rolling my fucking eyes out of my head and being like, is it 1996? Like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure fucking Daggerfall.
I was gonna say, it was like,
Bethesda.
this is not a new. I appreciated that they tried to present it as like a new, never before seen technology, but I was just like, this is not
Yeah.
not what you think it is.
The humor though is that they were talking over all of the music while they were
Hear it
presenting.
all, yeah.
So, like, I haven't heard it, and I'm curious.
Like, describing the drum beats, and it's like, I
Yeah.
haven't heard a fucking drum this whole time.
I liked what's his name, the guy who did the score for the first one. Very Swedish name. Oh my god.
Ludwig Forsell.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I liked him a lot, but now it's this guy
It's Woodkid.
Woodkid?
Yeah.
Who I've never
Woodkid
heard of.
fucking rules. I'm honestly surprised that you haven't heard of Woodkid.
I'm kind of surprised you haven't heard Woodkid either. I also really enjoy Woodkid.
The first time I ever heard Woodkid, the really, really good Assassin's Creed Revelations trailer, which was the third.
Oh wow, that's a
game.
while ago. Yeah.
His song Iron was the music track that was in that trailer, and that was the first time I heard Iron. Iron is such a great song, and I really, really like Woodkid. He's got like such a his like accent is like super unique, and so it like makes this
Nice.
It sounds like
He directs a lot of music videos too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like
pop
it's
music
primarily what, like, if you look him up, it's like that is
like
the first
Taylor
thing that comes
Swift,
up.
Beyonce type shit. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's an interesting Hideo Kojima, and his like love of pop and pop culture though is like kind of funny to see. Like
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like Benny Blanco is like super prolific, and like you see him and you're like, who the fuck is Benny Blanco? It's like that same vibe. It's just like,
exactly.
Yeah. What's interesting to me, so going back to Doll Man for a second.
Oh, God.
don't wanna. I'm
so-
leaving. Ew.
Tall man can't hurt us here.
Yeah, right. Essentially, what I kind of discovered when we were looking him up to like reach out to him, what's his name, Jonathan Rumi, is that he's sort of primarily known for like TV stuff and like playing Jesus and like not the kind of like, I don't know, like crazy over the top fucking quadruple A Hollywood talent. Like, I'm sure he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to belittle him, but when you're like talking about like Margaret Qualley and all these other people who are like Oscar noms or whatever, it's like, I guess Lay Seydoux is who comes to mind, where it's like very upper echelon sort of like.
I think it's less to do with like him and more to do with Kojima.
Well, I'm just curious how Kojima even fucking got to him.
That's
Like,
what I
you
want to
what mean?
know.
His head's always in the fucking clouds of fucking Hollywood. That is like, welcome to Kojima cocksuckers, my friend.
Well, and the person that the likeness is based off of is like a Turkish German film director.
Is it not?
Yeah, which
Alan
he
Wake?
really loves.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna say this: if Sam Lake, if they hadn't already busted the Sam Lake nut in Death Stranding 1 as like an NPC cameo, it would have been fucking amazing to have Doll Man be Sam Lake.
That would have been awesome.
That would have flipped me completely. I would have been like, I love that.
That would have been incredible.
I would
necessarily love the phrase "bust the Sam Lake nut." Don't really love
it's
that.
accurate. It's accurate.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is
yeah.
accurate. Before we get too far away from it too, the thing that I do want to bring up about like the combat stuff is like we've heard a bunch about how it's more about the stick this time, whereas like the first one was about building connections and like building bridges. It was
The
more
rope.
about the rope.
Mhm.
This one's more about the stick and should we have connected in the opposite. So I think it stands to reason that like there is going to be more confrontation and more conflict. I think it makes sense.
Mhm.
Like I said, not necessarily, I don't necessarily want it, but I think maybe that is like
Mm.
a central thesis for the whole thing.
Mhm.
And if that is going to be the case, I am thankful that the combat is going to be more like a game that I enjoy the combat of versus what it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
in
That's a
one,
good point.
because it was a pain in the fucking ass in one
It really
to
was.
get into a conflict. So if it's going to
Yeah.
be a little bit more fluid, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more choose your own adventure than it was in one, I'd rather, and the theming is going to be more about like
Right.
that confrontation. I'd rather it be like that than be how it was. So
I am curious to see how they're going to thread the needle of like when people die in Death Stranding's world, they fucking nuke themselves into
Well,
craters.
yeah, right?
Like,
So here is what I heard from one of the previews. I've been trying to stay away from stuff,
Mhm.
but like you,
well, because they
internet,
didn't crater out in the
is-
first game either. Well, you couldn't kill them. You would like
yeah,
incapacitate.
you also still can't kill them in this one. Is the thing. So they
Uh,
give you like stun bullets, like rubber bullets and stuff, so like they don't die.
I mean, it makes
That's what
sense.
that's what I
It makes
heard. I don't
sense
know
in
if
the
it's like
universe.
I don't know if it's true. Like, why would you have like real bullets when you can
Yeah.
cause a fucking nuclear explosion every time you kill somebody? But
Well, and you're also
So I hate to
like
say this,
shooting
but the
people
only
with a
times I
tar
died in
cannon.
Death Stranding were like single digits, low single digits, and it was mostly bosses. So I never really got to experience if it
Void out.
actually did a void out in the world.
It does.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Oh,
Is it
It's pretty
permanent?
crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, like in your world, it's like a permanent change to the
That's
that
insane.
landscape. Yeah,
Can you go down into the crater, or is it like walled off?
that I don't remember. I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure.
That's
I
pretty
also could be like, it's been literally like I haven't played it since we did the coverage. So
I haven't
be
played it since I
misremembering.
beat it in like
Yeah, I don't know.
2020 or late
Yeah.
2019 or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited. So getting a little ahead of ourselves, but after Metal Gear Solid Delta coverage, that will be the next thing we do is we're going to remaster our Death Stranding coverage. I guess not really remaster because there's a built-in excuse, which is we didn't play Director's Cut. So we're now gonna
So it's like
cover
some
Director's
new
Cut.
experiences, covers Director's Cut. Alessio wasn't on the
Yeah.
season at all. Obviously, he was on this version of the Death Stranding 1 season episode, but that was it. So
So this will be like the true director's cut. It does feel very like also in line with the video game industry. Like, hey, this thing we did 5 years ago, remaster is coming out right now. We already got it for you. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. I am a little nervous about going into the director's cut because like everything that I saw about it was like
Let's make Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, it was like that. It's also like let's make a bunch of shit to make everything easier.
Well, there's like a whole like box inside of a warehouse, like the inside of a cardboard box. Like it's literally just they just made like here's your obligatory Metal Gear sections.
Yeah. Well, the big thing too is like there's like fucking catapults and all kinds of shit that like essentially trivializes the terrain.
Oh
aspect.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be fine.
Human trebuchet. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't think it's necessary. It's wrong for the record. I don't think it's wrong for him, for like the man who created a thing, to love his creation and like miss his creation. I think he really misses Metal Gear in a weird, like fucked up way. Because he posts about it a lot on the anniversaries, and in interviews he like mentions it a bunch. Like the Game Informer interview that he did, he talked about how like with stuff like Death Stranding 1, it's not necessarily him maybe even huffing his own farts, right? But with stuff like Death Stranding 1, it's maybe something that's not necessarily appreciated until like 10 years later, and then people go back and be like, oh, this was great. And he brings up Metal Gear, and he's like, people didn't think Metal Gear was a good game for like 15 years or something like that, like the original Metal Gear. So it's like he's specifically like bringing up Metal Gear, and I think I feel like this is me projecting and like assuming. I don't know the man, but like I feel like he sees Delta coming, he sees all this stuff, and he sees Konami carrying on with his baby, and he just like misses it, I think. And so I don't know, he's just been bringing it up a lot, and it's interesting.
Yeah, that's Yeah, that is super
It's a
interesting.
strange position to be in for sure.
Yeah.
Like watching it from afar.
And the shit with fucking Neil with like he puts on the bandana and shit. Like it's
Oh,
like
right. Yeah.
he really he like had this like covert ops like bandana man,
Yeah.
rough bandana man, and it's like man, there's something happening here. He really is like projecting a little bit.
He
It's
likes
very
his
interesting.
things.
He likes his things.
I would be curious to know if there have been any shakeups in the executives at Konami, over the last 10 years.
Yeah, because you got to
Yes.
figure like enough time will pass eventually that perhaps we get a Metal Gear Solid Kojima's version.
Right.
Just like Taylor's version.
Well, Sigint, right, is supposed to be, or not Sigint. What is it? Fizzant.
Physics.
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
Fizzant.
Yeah, another one is a stealth tactical espionage game he's making within the next apparently 5 or 6 years.
Well, and I
According
don't
to
know if
him.
it's just secondhand or what, but like I'm pretty sure some of the like straight up primary source stuff for Fizzant has straight up called it like a Metal Gear esque thing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, literally, like
fun genre.
when it got
Yeah.
announced, it was described as tactical espionage action. I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
I could be misremembering, but I feel like that's true.
Well,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
created the genre. If T-Pain wants to use autotune, you got to let him use autotune.
You gotta let T-Pain use auto-tune, yeah. Let
Oh
the
my God.
painters paint.
Right.
God damn it.
Christ. This episode of Metal Gear Mondays is brought to you by FabFilter's Pro C compression tool that I'm going to be using all over Liliana's audio track.
I'm loud. Listen. I'm loud and I take up space.
I like
As is my right as a woman. God
you
damn
just,
it.
You just say listen and then just dead silence for a minute.
Yeah. You got to make them hang on your every word, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen.
This goes out to all the peas I'm gonna pop.
This goes out to all the peas I'm gonna pop and the teas I'm gonna top. Am I
Hell
right?
yeah.
Give me one of these.
Bah.
Let's go.
I will say, to spin it to a positive, and I don't know about you guys, I will say that it has been a minute since I have played any Kojima game. I am kind of excited for the very specific style of like tongue-in-cheek, sort of humorous, non-serious, like for somebody who seems to take themselves very seriously.
Yeah, he does a lot of like
When Kojima is not serious, I think he's my favorite.
Totally.
Like that's when he's the guy I want to hang out
a good
with.
time.
Yeah.
Very cheeky.
I have been, and I will not say it if the two of you decide you just don't want to hear it.
Oh.
But I've been hinting.
Hold on, are you going to say it and then we can determine if we want to?
Yeah. Well, no, I've been hinting to both of you. Speaking of Doll Man, I've been hinting to both of you that I heard a little tidbit about how Doll Man keeps clean.
I don't want to know about a little tidbit about Doll Man. Get that little fucker out of here.
I've said it once, I'll say it twice. If he's clean now, I'm gonna inject that little doll up with so many drugs they won't be clean for long.
Oops. I'll just say it involves him being in a compromising location with one of the female characters.
Oh no!
Which
Doll
female
Man taking
character?
a shower with Elle Fanning?
Is it Elle Fanning?
No, it's Rainey. I'm pretty sure the pregnant one.
Wait a minute, is the pregnant one pregnant with Doll Man's child?
Okay. It's just a box. We gotta go.
Yeah, I will say this for any 90s kids in the chat. Doll Man is so fucking Goosebumps coded. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Very slappy the dump coded.
I didn't see the original trailer. I just saw like a picture and a headline, and I was like, that can't be a real image from the weird Goosebumps crossover.
It's
You're
so
absolutely
crazy.
right.
Wait a minute. What if Rainey gives birth to Doll Man?
That'd be awesome.
Kojima forces you to see it.
If anybody were to do it, it would be Kojima.
It would be Kojima, yeah. It's wild that like in a from everything we've personally seen so far, there's been all kinds of weird shit, crazy shit, potentially uncomfortable shit.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get worse than Doll Man.
No,
I agree.
It
I will
truly
take
doesn't.
the shit grenades, the piss bombs, whatever
Yeah.
was in the
Like
original.
the blood vial,
the blood
fucking
boomerang.
grenade.
Yeah, that was one thing I forgot as I was like watching that gameplay reveal. I was like, oh yeah, all of the weapons are like biomatter
Weird.
based
Yeah.
for some reason. Like, why?
Yeah. Sam is selling his bathwater on the whatever.
Yes.
What is it called? The network.
Yeah.
I like the network.
network. Ooh.
What is it? Chimera net? What is it?
Chiral
Chiral network.
Chiral net. Oh,
You're
right. Yeah.
Porter boy bathwater.
I'm
Yes, please.
I love that. I'm excited for another round of cameos. Like I just can't imagine what people we will see.
Well, he posts fucking pictures with people on the regular.
Constantly.
Yeah, it's like Bruce Willis, all kinds
With
of
Carolyn
shit.
Polachek every other week. Like
yeah, Timothy Chalamet. He's posted pictures with. He's
Can you
obviously
imagine?
doing OD with Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have yet to see a fucking picture of Jordan Peele and Hideo Kojima in the same place.
Really?
Like,
well, they were on stage together.
Were they?
OD. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like a whole thing where he was like, "And my new game OD featuring," and then they started playing the remix of 5 on it from Us, and then he came out and it was like a big fucking deal. There's a picture of them together in like a room somewhere as well.
Just a random room.
Just a room, on a couch. I'm just looking at his Instagram to see like some stuff. See if I can find some potential cameos. There's Phil Spencer. Xbox's Phil Spencer. He could be.
I'm okay with that one not being a thing.
That's a bad cameo.
Oh shit!
He doesn't deserve that.
I mean, Jeff Keighley. We got to get another Jeff Keighley cameo.
Oh yeah, I forgot Jeff was in the first one.
We can be done with Jeff.
we can leave Jeff in 2024 if we wanted to. There's a picture of him. He's got a picture with. Oh, you can't see that on the fucking camera. Are you crazy? With Hunter Schafer. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Kojima loves Hunter Schafer.
Hunter Schafer. Yeah.
Listen. I can say this because, Kojima's a fucking chaser.
Doesn't Kojima have like 2 kids and a wife?
That doesn't mean shit, dude.
That's fair. That's fair.
What is that?
That's fair.
That man has children?
He at least has a wife. We know that.
No, I know. He talks about having 2 sons.
What?
It came up in an interview. Yeah, he said something about watching movies with his 2 sons.
Wow.
Which I did not clock until like a week ago.
That's so interesting to imagine being raised by.
Yeah, apparently keeps it pretty private. But yeah, he's a father of 2 children.
Wow.
Also, there's that fucking amazing meme. I hope you guys have seen it before, where it's Kojima and the woman posing with the BB that has made its way onto like conservative newspapers.
Oh
where, like,
yeah,
fucked up liberals celebrating their aborted baby.
Yep. That was speaking of the baby.
There's a picture really quick. There's a picture of him.
Oh, yeah.
Don fucking Lee. So that'd be fucking sick if Don Lee was in Death Stranding.
Yeah, what is you guys' in a perfect world? It could be anybody living or dead. Who would you want in the scanner having their feet meticulously mapped by Kojima's goon squad?
Do you want to see hear the weirdest fucking thing about that question? I was scrolling his Instagram page and I was like, what would be fun if Elijah Wood was in Death Stranding 2? And literally, just as I thought that thought, 2 scrolls later, there's a picture of him with Elijah Wood on his Instagram page.
Okay, that's incredible.
That is very weird.
I want ripped J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
I thought you were about to say Rip Torn.
Yeah, and also Rip Torn.
And also a Rip Torn.
If they're available, get them in there.
I feel like Jennifer Connelly would be a good like
Jennifer Connelly
person just to be in period as like a cast member. If Bowie were still alive, he would 1,000,000% be in this game.
Yes.
Rip Torn is dead. I thought so. He died in 2019.
He ripped and torn.
Which 2019 he could have cameoed.
Oh, I was
Gonna
making I was
record-
making a joke with Lily where I was like, it'll be funny if in this interview that we're doing, I don't even know if we were not recording when we talked about this, so let me let this slip and then we'll talk about it. But this interview that we're doing with Jeff Leach, who plays a strange character name listed on IMDb that no one's ever fucking heard of. We were joking about like we're recording it after this, even though this episode airs after that one. And so we were talking about if he drops any weird bombshells that we're not going to address on this episode with James. And I jokingly sent a thing where I was like quoting fictitious Jeff, and he was like, "Yeah, we were just all on the mocap stage, and in comes Oscar Isaac playing Smoke Bluntman." And and it's just like I don't know. I feel like Oscar Isaac. I would be surprised if he doesn't end up in here as like a cameo or something.
Oh yeah, that would make a ton of sense.
Because Kojima, I feel like, also likes his stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds would be a good one.
Pedro Pascal would be a fun one.
Pedro, yeah.
Pedro would be
I
dope.
love Pedro. Pedro should be in all things. He is, quite frankly.
Yeah,
He really is. Yeah, he's
you
everywhere.
know what actually would be cool is not celebrities as much, but like game characters, like game cameos would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Let me. You say game characters. Let me lay this one on you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just set the stage and get your thoughts about these ones. How about Mario and Princess Peach?
You say Princess Peach?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that line shows back up, like if there's anything as cringe-inducing in the dialogue as the Princess Peach line from Death Stranding.
Oh wait, that's real.
Yeah, that's a real line from Death
Oh my
Stranding.
god, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Troy Baker?
He's gonna say. No, it was Amelie said it to Sam.
Oh god.
Oh, it was insane.
It's like we're Mario and Princess Peach.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
I'm sorry. This one is going to be.
I'm one of the cameos.
Yeah,
Shigeru.
Shigeru. Yeah. I'm sorry, Sam. Your princess is in another Chiral.
You know who'd actually be fucking great? 1 second. Let me get
God.
his name right. I don't know why I can never fucking remember this actor's name. Wayne Knight. Fucking Wayne Knight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wayne Knight
yeah.
would be
So
incredible.
good. Especially
Please.
asking you for like a fucked up weird delivery that you don't find out about until after you deliver it.
Yup. The perfect Wayne Knight role.
God.
Okay. Hear me out on this one. This one's a real one. What about Cheech and Chong?
That would be very funny.
Cheech and
That'd be
Chong in
good.
this fucking game would be like, we need you to deliver a special package, Sam. Yeah, man, we got to get you to deliver this package. It's real important.
Be very low riders
a
playing.
boss fight that's Larry David.
Oh my god.
Like, they're explicitly an enemy.
I do want to see. So I will say this: I do want to see more things. Like I understand that the whole theming around the original game was like everyone's disconnected, everyone's like shut-ins essentially. But I want to see more things with my eyes. So like there was a lot of just, like reading or like a character expositing at you, and it's like I don't just scenarios in this world. Like you've got some fucking old man who doesn't want to die in the city because it will set off a bomb, and he's just fucking. You find an old dude running away from town, like naked in the middle of the wilderness or some shit, babbling insanity. Like I just want like, give me the like strangers and weirdos from Red Dead and GTA, and just like drop them into this world. Like
that would be sick.
Just like these sort of
I'd be all over that.
On the fly kind of side quests that you stumble on would be cool. Or somebody who's fucking trapped. There's like BTs all around them and they're like freaking out in a tree or some shit. Like
that'd be cool.
I don't know.
Well, it's interesting too because I think it would make because like the idea behind the first game was like connections and making connections, so everybody was like sheltered and sequestered until you connected them. Now
they're all just
in
masturbating furiously,
right?
every day.
Just like masturbating bear. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
but like ostensibly, like in this one, the connection has happened, so the people should be like less reclusive and more like out in the world.
Right.
So maybe that's his excuse to go to fucking Australia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for anybody who is unaware, there is
Yeah.
a section. It's not just a story section either, because like that was the clip they were playing for the dynamic music presentation. I will say this: I literally, and this is through like fucking YouTube H.264 hyper compression, fucking 1 megabit per second like bit rate of just Sam fast walking down the side of a fucking mountain, and
Oh
like
shit.
I legitimately got like roller coaster stomach drop looking at it. Like it was really beautiful, and like
It
the
was.
depth that the image was showing, it looked like insane. I was like, there's no way if this was like 2004 that would all be skybox, but it like
Yes.
all looked fucking
1000%.
modeled. It was
Looks
crazy.
very beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm very excited.
Great
Unfortunately,
vistas, yeah.
one of Kojima's developers was like, I think was asked, has the PS5 enabled you to do anything that you normally wouldn't be able to do? And no joke, he goes, no, not really. He was like, it just makes everything faster, like to sort of test and load and blah blah blah.
I guess
So
that's good.
yeah, effectively he was like, I mean, it'll look nice, but it's not going to look like game changing or anything. But
yeah, just like a thing, it's the idea here is that like the game, like a good chunk of the game, we don't know much about, like if it's the back half too, but like a good chunk of the game takes place in Australia.
That's interesting.
Feels like a Damon Lindelof pull.
Yeah, you get there somehow. You start the game in Mexico.
What if we have to walk from Mexico
all the way to Australia? Well, I assure you, sir, that is quite impossible. You just take a zip line all the way from Mexico to Australia, and you
in real time.
In real time, wait for.
Yeah, that's why the game's like 56 hours long or something.
Yeah, it's all just the zip line to Australia.
Jesus Christ!
It's really a 10-hour experience if you remove that.
Yeah, in this world though, I do wonder. I don't know. I mean, I was going to say the world was crazy in Death Stranding 1, but now we've also had like, spoiler for people who played Death Stranding 1, but it's like this fucking extinction event was subverted. How could not fucking tell you. I don't even know if there are memories in my brain for what happened. But yeah, there's like an extinction level event. There's all this other shit, gigantic BTs. Like, I don't know, parts of the ocean could be drained. Like there could be some weird shit going on. Maybe you can walk on water in Death Stranding world. But yeah, I'm curious.
Jesus.
Yes.
That's Sam probably the connection with Dollman, the actor.
Yeah.
Jesus. We're bringing it all together now.
That's Jesus.
Yes, squad. Yeah, James, what you got? What's been cooking in your noggin over these last few weeks?
Oh, as far as what I'm excited about, I actually am surprisingly excited to see how they try to stick the landing of the narrative, because what could we be doing? I'm also excited mechanically for the base. Like, I like that they've got a little like base operations that they're going to be using.
I love that Kojima was like, I can't stay away from Mother Base.
I can't stay away from Mother Base. That's how it felt. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to return to Mother Base. Sure.
I love a good hub. I love a good like hub.
I love a hub world. I'm a slut for a hub world.
I really enjoyed that they gave enough airtime to the fact that you can turn the hat around to wear the hat backwards now if you want.
Yeah.
I think very key feature. I think it'd be a 0 for me if they hadn't implemented that one.
Yeah.
No,
the photo looks crazy too.
Go ahead, James.
I'm excited for I'm excited for the setting. I think it looks really beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm excited to walk around and fucking fall down and roll down a hill and whatnot. Like, just fun.
I'm excited to tussle a little bit, get a little dirty. Experience the earth, get my toes in the sand,
Yeah.
What I mean?
I love that Sam has like some difficulty with like navigating the terrain and stuff, but it never ever felt like a newborn learning how to walk. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's such a what is the name of that game where you're like a track and field person? Yeah. I feel like if you're pitching Death Stranding on paper, I feel like that's kind of the thing where people would start to imagine like, oh, is it going to be like a physics based puzzle thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a thing, and there was a feature in Death Stranding 1 that I did not know about and realize until after I had already beaten it. because obviously like part of it is like stacking your stuff in a way that you balance. You don't have to keep it as even as possible, but a lot of it, like, you have to hold down the triggers a lot and like keep yourself balanced. On the screen where you're stacking the stuff, there's a little circle underneath Sam that veers off to the left and right to show you if you're like too side heavy. And the idea is you want to have that circle centered completely underneath him, and that's his most balance. And I had no fucking idea, so I'm fucking listing back and forth, walking across fucking tundra, trying not to die, holding down the triggers, trying not to fucking fall over. And it was because like my circle was, I tried to auto stack it, my circle was like fucking right over here. So I'm going to be paying attention to that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see like what UI and menu adjustments there are. Yeah, because I don't know, it felt
like a
very
skill tree now. Like,
is there really?
Which I think so. Which again, like, kind of like makes me nervous. I'm like, you're adding a lot of like video gamey things into this. You know?
Yeah. What are you doing? Is there going to be a fucking HUD? Because please don't. Like I liked it.
The minimalism is part of the reason why it's like cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think out of every single game that I've ever played, I feel like Death Stranding did a really good job of capturing like the verisimilitude of like going for a real ass hike.
Yeah,
like there were definitely moments where I was like, I feel like I can feel the wind on my skin. Like this feels good. But
100%, and like the weather effects.
I guess there's real time night and day is what I was hearing in Death Stranding.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, well, and like all the natural disasters that they keep talking about, like the earthquakes and the wildfires.
Interesting.
Yeah. Reshape the terrain as you walk.
Something that I am excited about tentatively is this like Magellan Man shit. And whatever these like kaiju fights are going to be.
Yeah, what is happening? Yeah.
Fucking Metal-On type bullshit with a
Metal Gear Rex.
The Metal Gear Rex head.
Yeah.
I really, really want to know what the fuck that's about, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
It looks really, really cool, quite frankly. And it's probably going to be dumb as fuck, but sometimes the dumbest fuck shit in a Kojima game is like the best shit in the game.
Yeah.
So I'm like pretty stoked about that.
Speaking of which, this is gonna be like a week and a half old at this point. But did you guys see the stuff on the Metal Gear Solid Delta multiplayer mode?
Yeah, the Fox.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. What is it?
Yeah, it's like hide and seek essentially.
Oh hell yeah!
Which like
it's like MGO, but not.
Yeah, bummer that it's not
cool.
Metal Gear Online. But it looks like it's literally just like hide and seek, like for real, the game. Which is fine. Like I was kind of hoping it'd be. There was a mode. I can't remember what it was called. There was a mode in MGO where one team had non-lethal weapons and the other team had like AKs and shit. And so it like forced one team to like be super sneaky and then the other team to just be like running around.
That's cool.
Being crazy. And I wish they would have done something like that.
Yeah.
I love a good like asymmetrical multiplayer experience. Like fucking Splinter Cell.
That'd be fun.
I love like prop hunt, like Gary's Mod prop hunt, Call of Duty prop hunt. And it kind of feels like that a little bit, and so I'm really excited to kind of get into it and kind of see how it works and functions. So
yeah, I'll play it. The reasoning behind it I thought was kind of silly though. Like one of the developers was like, the changing landscape of multiplayer gaming is why we came up with a different mode. And I'm like, you trying to tell me right here right now that people wouldn't play like Capture the Flag Metal Gear online? Are you insane?
People are playing that like all the time.
Yeah, people have fan servers.
Counter-Strike,
like private servers
is
for
huge.
fucking MGO, I'm pretty sure.
1000%.
Counter-Strike is still huge. Call of Duty is still huge. All these games are like it would whip ass.
Straight up. There is Metal Gear Online, MGO2PC.com. There is literally PS3 and Windows how to set up and run Metal Gear Online on MGS4 private server going on right now.
Well, and as you know, Alessio, the game that originated MGO, Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh yes.
As you know,
There are literally 160 people playing online right now.
Right this
That's
moment.
crazy.
That's insane.
I bet they're having the time of their life.
That was a I bet they are too. It's like those 300 people playing fucking, what was it, Phantasy Star that you showed me the
Oh
video,
yeah,
Alessio?
100%. Yeah, I was
They are
playing.
fucking living life right now playing
Yes.
Phantasy Star Online.
I'm gonna legit look into how I can get this going on my fucking hacked
Alessio's
PS3.
gonna be on the server in no time.
Oh yeah.
That was a joke, by the way, what I said. The IGN article posting about Fox Hunt talked about MGO, and they said like the first MGO game was MGS4, which is
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah, at all. Like even remotely. It's fucking
Yeah.
dumb. Anyway. Yeah, there's a whole guide here. I can totally use my custom firmware PS3. I'm sorry. We're gonna there'll
Yeah,
be
we
a
gotta
future episode
early,
on this.
yeah, we should talk
Yeah.
about MGO. And I
Um,
think the other thing too is like I don't want to like overpromise anything like that, but like when we cover Delta, we're gonna play Fox Hunt.
100%.
And it would be neat potentially to play Fox Hunt with some listeners if we
Yeah.
could swing it.
yeah, we
So,
could set up maybe like a Saturday event
yeah.
or something. I wish that modern games allowed you to make private servers like they used to in
Yeah.
the 2000s, because
Right.
it would be cool to have a Metal Gear Mondays official server.
That would be sick.
But anyway, yeah, I guess outside of that, we should talk a little bit. I know we talked a little bit up front about the sort of scheduling. So yeah, that Jeff Leach interview, I totally didn't say what it was. So on IMDb, he's listed as fucking voicing a character named Pierre Southern.
Yeah.
No clue. Literally comes up nowhere online. So I'll be curious to see this. You'll have heard it already, but maybe he
Yeah.
was a side quest NPC. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're doing that. That's going to release last Monday. This Monday, currently, you're listening to this. Game comes out in 24 hours. So for people who have the deluxe. So happy Stranding to you all, and also with you.
Also to you.
And also with you.
Yeah.
And with your spirit. Thank you.
But we're all we've all pre-purchased the deluxe. I hate incentivizing shitty behavior, but we have paid Kojima Productions money to play their game
And listen,
early.
we're doing this for you. Because if we didn't do this fucking show, I would not have done that.
Yeah, correct.
I would have just fucking waited.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're professionals.
Yeah,
we have to play the video game.
We had to do it.
Yeah.
We have to gaming.
I look at my wife as
we're
I'm
gonna
foaming at the
gaming.
mouth with no clothes on and like chips all around me night of. We have to do
I
this.
had to do
We
it.
must gaming. We must gaming.
But anyway, so we're doing that. So day of release itself. So 3 days from now, you will be receiving the first impressions episode. That will
So
more than
not
likely,
not like we're not going to be covering like specific parts. We're just going to kind of like talk for a little bit about like how does the game feel and what are we did one of these for Death Stranding 1 as well, but like how does it feel and have our expectations changed so far, or like things like that. So that's going to be coming
generalities
out
too.
Yeah,
like how does it play? What are the systems? But like very light. Like we're going to save that stuff for the main show. But anyway, after that, as you guys have hopefully been tipped off, every week we'll be putting out episodes for this season. So in order to hopefully we're not fucking ourselves into racing like we did the first game, but in order to get it done before Delta, literally it has to be every week. Like that is the only way. So we're doing that, but we are trying to parse it out. I think on average, based on the like estimates, it comes out to like 5 hours of game a week that we have to play essentially. But yeah,
so it's pretty reasonable. I think we can pace ourselves pretty nicely.
For sure. Yeah, I think even if you work 40 hours and have a kid, I feel like 5 hours a week it's like an hour a day in the evening before bed or something. But
and then part of that too is we have at least one interview that we're going to be doing after release comes out. And we will attempt to get more. Like we're not going to just give up and stuff. We're going to attempt to get some more interviews, but those will be midweek drops. So we're not going to like burn a week on an interview. Like you'll get 2 episodes that week if we have an interview. So yeah.
Also another good benefit to being a Patreon supporter, because we had an awesome video component to the Deborah Wilson interview.
Yeah. But it really, if you listen to the Deborah Wilson interview, and you're like, wow, this was really intense and cool, the fucking video is crazier. There was a part in the Deborah Wilson interview where she got her dog and started like going and like doing the barking noises, and to watch that and to witness that unfold with your eyes is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So I
Also, she
highly
shows you her
recommend.
tattoos, which was cool.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Here's something that I do want to say for the people who are potentially thinking about patronizing the Patreon. Something that Patreon does is that, and I think this is to make sure that the creators have consistent cash flow.
Mhm.
They charge you for your patronage on the first of the month every month, but they also charge you the day that you subscribe.
Oh, right.
So we get the money the same time regardless. So if you are thinking about subscribing to the Patreon, I would say wait until like the first of the month or around the first of the month, because you won't get double charged that way. Not before. So if it's like the 30th of June and you subscribe on the 30th of June, you're gonna get charged again on the 1st of July. So just first of the month, or like in the 2 days following, 2-3 days following, that's going to be the best time to subscribe to the Patreon. Yeah, and that's a pro tip. That's something I'm happy to give away, because like we get the money the same time regardless. So
right.
Do with that what you will.
And the money is going to a good place, right? It's like, it's not just, obviously at this point, it's like, I think the overhead, just to be very transparent, the overhead for the show, if you don't include like editing tools that I'm using for other shit anyway, is really like $40 a month or something. It's like various hosting things and whatever. And so anything outside of that is mostly just going into a piggy bank that we're going to use for like travel expenses to go to panels and stuff if we have to, and the convention's not covering it.
Or like
games,
if we need to play a game, buying the game for the crew to play the game, things like that.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, so anyway, all that stuff helps. But yeah, so long story short, if anybody at any point, if you're a listener who's listening right now and you have your uncle who works at Nintendo, showed you all the chapters breakdown for Death Stranding 2, we still have yet to fully sit down and flesh out like a proper schedule as far as like what is being covered in every episode. But because a lot of people, it has come to my attention that a lot of people use our show like a legitimate listening buddy kind of a thing. We are going to try to not spoil stuff, and we're going to try to cover it in like actual sort of chronological order and just keep it like, okay, if we're covering chapter 1, 2, and 3 this episode, I'm not going to talk about chapter 4 by accident, kind of a thing. So anyway, we will reveal that as we go. Hopefully by the time we're in the general impressions episode, somebody will have posted online how many chapters there are or something. I think the first game had 16 chapters, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Feels right, yeah.
But anyway, James, you're going to be with us for all of it, right?
I will.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
So James is...
I'll be stranded.
Otacon is staying nasty, and
That's
James
right.
is riding dirty.
He's nasty.
But yeah, so if you'd like to support the Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Metal Gear Mondays. That'll kind of take you to the page. For $1 a month, you get access to the Discord, where we're talking. We've got a bunch of listeners that are in there chopping it up and being menaces. Listeners like Skylar Blackwell, who I again am going to strangle to death. Death strangling, I think, as James said before we started recording, or one of you said that. So that's $1. $5 a month, you get access to the Patriot Club, which again is that bonus podcast you get every month.
We talk about anything and everything.
Anything. With the first episode was kind of like, what have we been up to since the show ended a couple years ago? In episode 2, we had our mods, Chad and Nick, on to talk about Serial, which was a listener voted. Y'all did that, and it was a thoroughly entertaining episode. So that's really cool. Patriot Club. And then $10 a month again gets you videos. So you're going to get the video of this episode. You're going to get the videos of the Patriot Club that we do. The only exception sometimes is going to be the interviews we do. We cannot always guarantee that a interview subject is going to want to be on video. So if they are, great, you'll get a video. If not, you'll get a video of us introducing the episode, and then it'll be like a picture, just like kind of on YouTube. But That's the only like potential exception. But yeah, videos at the $10 range. And then again, Alessio mentioned it. Every tier gets access to the 65 episodes of Patriot Club that we did before. So that's like hours and hours of content.
Yeah, so even if you're paying $1, it's like anything that was released pre-return of Metal Gear Mondays, so pre-May of 2025. Anything released before then, you just get immediately. So even $1 people can listen to Patriot Club.
Yeah.
So that Patriot Club, not the new, the new shit.
That iteration of it. Before we head out,
yeah, of course.
I have a couple of theories that I want to run by you both.
Yeah, so I guess it's actually good that you put this at the end. So I was going to say, if anybody wants to go in fully blind, please tune out at this point. Look at this. This happened organically. I had it in my head to make this happen. Look at this. But yeah, so we're going to talk about...
It's like we're professionals.
We're going to talk about some fan theories.
Yeah.
One of them really pisses me off, and I'm like, I think it's kind of silly and dumb, and I hope it's not real. But we'll see.
So I'm going to start with two. I'm going to do two of them. And I think one of them is pretty obvious based on the things that we've seen so far. But we know that Higgs is back. And we know that he's like in this fucking red fucking weird suit and things like that.
He's also like Buffalo Billing Amelie's face.
That's the thing. Like he was supposedly like he was written off or whatever the fuck in the first one, and now he's back somehow. And I think the general prevailing thought is that he is now piggybacking on Amelie's body somehow, which is fucking weird. My other theory, and this is not one that I've necessarily seen. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's floating around, but it is one that I kind of came up independently, just like looking at the stuff. They've made a lot of like fuss about like Tomorrow and her powers and like how special she is and all this other stuff. I think that there's going to be some fucking time fuckery, and we're going to discover that Tomorrow and Lou are the same person.
That is my I love you to death, and there's nothing wrong with... I think your theory holds water. I just think if that does end up happening, I'm going to be irritated because it feels like such a cheap...
saying it's good.
Right.
I'm saying it's likely. I think it's a solid theory. Whether or not it's a good thing to happen is different.
No, for sure.
There's been a lot of... You've talked a lot in the Discord about how like you're going to just get completely like fucked up. Over the fact that like because Lou is the same age as like about the same age as your daughter,
almost like literally straight up, almost exactly to the day. Wow. Like so, Edith turns 18 months on the 23rd.
Oh wow!
And so it's literally like the day before, like the day this episode drops. Like
So there's that, but I do think it's funny that you have a you know, your wife is like a blonde, like tall blonde, and your daughter is probably going to grow up to be like blonde, and Tomorrow is a blonde girl.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It is extremely.
Edith currently has
about you, Alessia?
Edith currently has very curly like red hair, like
reddish blonde. Like little like strawberry. Like,
but that's the shitty part is like Lou as a baby looks so much like my daughter.
It's fucking crazy how much Lou and Edith look alike. Like
Kojima broke into my house and scanned Edith.
Seems that way.
That day that me and Chelsea were there and the fucking alarm went off, that was Kojima breaking into the house and scanning you both.
I forgot about
James, you know this story. I just really quick, I just want to tell it. Me and my wife went to Atlanta back in February to visit Alessio, just kind of like see his new home and meet Edith for the first time and things like that. And we were staying in Alessio's mother-in-law was staying around the same time, so we stayed in the office that you see behind Alessio right now, so we stayed in there. And it was it was storming and the power went out and the battery backup, I think is what it was, Alessio.
Oh, right. Like, I've got
like something happened and this fucking wow in the middle at like 3 a.m. And I like the way that my soul almost literally left my body. Like I leapt out of bed and I was like, what the fuck? I'm looking around, and Chelsea's like, what is that? How do we turn it off? I was like, I don't know. What do we do? And then you just
I fucking hyper
hear
dad mode flew in.
Yeah, you hear, and then Alessio just flings the door open and like goes under the desk and like fixes it. And I was like, what was that? He was like, it was a backup. And then he like goes back, closes the door, and goes back to bed. Jesus Christ. And somehow through all of that, Edith and Kristen did not wake up at all.
That's incredible.
Well, so the crazy part is like, so I happened to be awake. I don't even know what fucking woke me up, but I like happened to be awake. And as I'm about to lay back down to bed, I see out of my window the streetlights are not on.
Oh, no.
And immediately I was like, oh fuck, the battery backup's gonna scream. And so I was already like halfway to the office when it started happening, and I was like, God damn it.
It was just like the forceful knock followed by the doof, just kind of it was like, here's your warning. I don't care what state that you're in. And not that I was just gonna be like butt ass naked in Alessio's office or anything like that, but it's just like it was just like, fuck it, who cares? I gotta finish this shit before my daughter wakes up at 3 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. That is the energy level of a father who does not want to be up for multiple hours.
That's incredible.
Anyway, but yeah,
do either of you have any like special pet theories that you've been thinking of, or are those like the two main ones that you?
I'm curious to see if any past characters are going to show up outside of a flashback, because like we know that Higgs can do it, right? Somehow, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but like, is Die Hardman going to show up somehow?
Oh yeah,
I hope so.
I feel like Cliff's story is definitely done, like definitively over. So I don't see Mads Mikkelsen coming back.
A surprise, like flashback maybe, but
or like what weird celeb is going to be in this game that has not been revealed. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm interested. The thing that I've heard, and I think it's pretty obvious based on like what we've seen, is that like the Neil stuff with when he puts on the bandana and stuff, that's like this game's equivalent of the Cliff stuff that was in the first one. So I am very excited about like what that entails, because I think the Cliff sections were some of my favorite parts of Death Stranding 1.
Do you think we'll play as Neil?
That would be interesting.
I feel like nobody has brought that up.
Yeah. No. I know that like we know the answer to that question. I just don't know what the answer is, because I like la-la-la'd my way out of it. So
okay.
Like he came on stage during SGF and talked about it, and like I disassociated like 5 minutes in, not because I was bored or like didn't care, but just because like I don't want to hear this. And so I just kind of like eyes glazed over.
Oh, so he already confirmed whether
he showed like an extended clip of Neil and Lucy, I think her name is, the therapist,
Neil's actual wife.
Yeah, in real life the actors are married. I think her name is Lucy. I think the character's name is Lucy, but showed like an extended clip of that scene of them talking in the office. And then he talked about like the Neil sections and like all the other stuff. And so I'm pretty sure he answered the question about like if we're gonna play as Neil there. But I had already like fucking
So some listener at home's like, God damn it, guys, you're too stupid to figure it out. I will say this, like Kojima skewing towards over marketing that has been happening is a little irritating. It's like I hate that we've already seen 90% of the cast,
right?
Essentially,
he rented out like a theater to like premiere that whole thing. It's like what?
Yeah. Speaking of which, if anybody knows any expos in their towns and they want us to come to them, I'm gonna be real with you. If you guys reach out to the expo in your town and say that these guys need to come to your town,
we want them here.
Yeah, that will be more effective than me sending an email stating, hey, we would like to be there. Because if there's like fan clamoring, then it'll be helpful. But because of where we are located, I would say anything near Atlanta would be great. If you're anywhere around that area, anything around New York City obviously would be fine, because like we got connects. I don't expect Comic-Con New York, but anything in the Midwest I think should be fairly easy. And then I think just out of sheer necessity, if we do end up going to MGS Con, either just to be there or involved in some way. I think LA is probably not out of the question currently. I would not travel to LA, but in the future, for a convention, yes, for sure. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I got. Do you guys have anything, James? Any final thoughts, theories, desires?
I don't think I have any theories. I'm just pumped. Like I'm excited. Like you said earlier, to have another Hideo Kojima game. Excited to see what it tries to say and how well it says it.
Yeah, I mean, he claimed when COVID hit and he got super sick, which is weird because he won't share any personal details about it. Like he explicitly said he did not want to talk about it, but he got super, super sick and then just threw out the script for the original sequel and rewrote it. So I'll be curious to see like what
That's interesting.
a literal post-COVID script looks like.
Yeah,
but nice.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, also send us your listener responses. We're peppering them out throughout the show itself. We're not doing dedicated episodes anymore, unless we start to get 100 of them. In which case, hell yeah,
could be the move.
But yeah, contact@metalgearmondays.com. And yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, just leave a rating, even if they don't listen. Just tell your mom to put a 5-star rating on our show.
Yeah.
Because that helps us get discovered, especially with Death Stranding 2 right around the corner. I am actually going to check something really fast. So you guys talk about something.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, you can leave the reviews like Alessio just said. If you want to support us, the link again is patreon.com/MetalGearMondays. We also have a link tree. You can go to linktr.ee/MetalGearMondays. Or I discovered that linktree.com/MetalGearMondays also works.
So I did not know that.
So that's our Linktree page. It has like all the links to all of our socials and a database that our listener, our good pal Matt Dragonhide made, where you can like search up like phrases and words, and it'll like search the transcripts for all of our episodes and find specific phrases and words. So that's really cool, and like links to Patreon, links to our socials, things like that. So please give that a look too.
Perfect timing. So if you go to Apple Podcasts and you type in Death Stranding, we are the 55th show that shows up. So if you could promote the shit out of us in whatever way, I mean, granted, Metal Gear is all the core keywords for our show, but just ahead of the Death Stranding launch, especially with all these Death Stranding episodes that are going to be coming out, it will probably be a lot easier for the show to show up in those searches. But yeah, if you don't mind leaving a comment, leaving a review, whatever, depending on your platform, that would be super sick. Third podcast that comes up if you type in Metal Gear. But yeah,
we were fourth.
Yeah,
what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess next time that you hear our voices, we will have played Death Stranding 2. Yeah, that's exciting.
That's crazy.
Fired up. Is it only on PS5? Or is it
for now?
out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, you can hit me up, Linktree, Liliana Dawn. If you want to find me on the internet, buy my books. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. What about y'all?
James,
I funnily don't have anything to promote. You can't find me really anywhere right now.
As a matter of fact, don't find me.
Like, I'm gonna pop up with some stuff later in the year probably, but for right now, like, just hang tight, hang out. I'll be here on Metal Gear Mondays.
I'll pay you to leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. You can find me on.
Send me your Patreon link, and I'll donate to the Patreon if you fucking stop talking to me.
Nice. You can find me at alessiosummerfield.com as per usual. Website redesign impending.
The oft mentioned website redesign.
Yes.
I just want to go to that. I want to go to that interactive database real quick and just type in website redesign.
Oh, smart. So while James does that, I am also going to let slip an interesting thing. So because I am working on multiple podcasts, more information on that later, and because I'm working on other side projects, and I also admittedly have to funnel my film freelance through some sort of business entity. Technically, Metal Gear Mondays is now a frontman production. So my LLC is called Frontman. It just seemed
Wow.
funny, tongue in cheek.
Who named that? Hideo Kojima?
Frontman Productions.
Yeah, so not going to have a website or anything. It's literally just the legal entity that is funneling taxes for Metal Gear Mondays.
The way that James Frontman Productions. The way that James just said that.
I'm just gonna clip it.
Me.
I'm gonna use it as like a producer.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What is it called? Whenever you're, what is that?
Producer tag. Yeah.
Yeah, tag.
The vanity card.
We the best music.
Oh God. Cool. Well, yeah.
Really quick. Number one, before we go, I want to say Happy Pride.
Oh yeah.
Happy Pride.
It's June and it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Day.
Hell yeah.
Who's listening?
Hell yeah.
And that's very cool.
Yeah, sorry for not putting that front and center. That is absolutely a thing.
Listen, I am fucking transgender and I didn't remember. So it's like,
James, how's St. Louis going? St. Louis always has a dope ass pride.
Yeah.
There's 2 parades this year. The downtown one has taken quite the hit the last couple of years. There's a new one popping up in Tower Grove though, which is really good.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The other thing, and I left that little gap so you can cut it out if you want to. Can I make a quick little political statement?
Sure.
Because a lot of stuff is happening right now.
No, yeah. I referenced the LA thing earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if like I doubt it, but like I don't know if that's going to be resolved by the time this episode comes out. It's going to be a couple weeks.
Well, as of like 12 hours ago, a Democratic senator literally just asked if he could ask a question at a Christie Nome.
And got like shoved out of the room.
Well, no, he got like pushed to the ground, handcuffed, and taken out. Like he literally got assaulted by unmarked people who had no identification on.
Insane.
It's fucking Gestapo shit, dude.
Lots of insane shit going on right now. All I want to say is fuck ICE, free Palestine. Let's fucking go.
That's right.
It's fucking insane. Yeah. Yes. So praying for all
I can just hear from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Chad going, "Let's go."
I feel it in my soul. Yeah, it's crazy. As a new dad, I just need you to know that I will stare dead-eyed at the news until 4:00 in the morning frequently, and it sucks. So, get out there and do whatever you can.
That's right.
Yeah, vote and choose where you give money to. Those are the two big things. Also, protest.
And Alessio, when you vote, what do you put your ballot in?
I type it into a computer and use an ID card.
Pretend it's the 90s.
I love how close the
what do you put your fucking ballot in the goddamn 1990s, Alessio? Pretend you're voting for fucking Ross Perot.
I put it where the little old lady tells me to put it, in the public hospital auditorium. Put it in the box.
Pretend you're voting for fucking Dan Quayle. Where do you put your fucking ballot at?
I don't know, because they're gonna have to recount it anyway. Al Gore's running.
Yeah, that's true. He invented the internet.
I put it in the box.
Yeah, it's just a box.